The automobile industry is one of the hardest affected sectors as a result of the government's imports restrictions to curtail foreign currency outflows. With the ban prolonged, the Sri Lankan Automobile Association in Japan is requesting a lifting of the ban to import a stock of vehicles purchased prior to the ban. The association says that they are willing to keep the revenue from the 1,300 vehicles waiting to be imported in the country for at least a year if the government gives them the green light.
The automobile industry has been hit hard by the import ban imposed in March amidst the first wave of COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. Since then, revenue from customs duty on vehicle imports declined notably by 47.1% to 43.1 billion rupees in the first 8 months of 2020, compared to 81.5 billion rupees recorded in the same period of 2019. As a result of the ban, the prices of both registered and unregistered vehicles spiked drastically, making new car purchases somewhat of a pipe dream for local consumers. In the meantime, the only relief for the automobile industry from Budget 2021 are measures to reduce import taxes levied on vehicle spare parts to incentivize entrepreneurs to move into vehicle assembly and reconditioning. No financial relief was granted to the industry, similar to measures introduced for other industries. In this backdrop, the Sri Lanka Automobile Association in Japan is requesting the government to permit them to export pre-import banned vehicle stocks. Speaking to First at 9, SLAAJ International Director Sajeev Rajaputra says that the exporters are willing to assist the government in its efforts to maintain healthy foreign currency reserves.
This issue has had a major impact on all stakeholders of this industry. It's not just the vehicle importers in Sri Lanka, but also the vehicle exporters in Japan. We would hope that the import ban would be lifted without much further delay. It's very clear from the market, how the market has reacted, that prices have increased. Sri Lanka is among the strictest of countries with an age limit of 3 years between manufacture. One question is that really necessary? Does it have to be 3 years? Could it not be 4 or 5, maybe up to 7? Doing so can reduce the amount of expenditure and the cost on these vehicles. Bringing in a vehicle that's 5 or 6 years old from Japan, that is at a certain engine capacity and at a certain condition, it could be brought in for much cheaper than the vehicles that have been brought thus far. We had a stock of vehicles that we had purchased for Sri Lanka before this ban, and we were told that it was going to open in 3 months. We still have that stock, and we're losing massive amounts of money on that particular stock. Every single member of SLAAJ is a Sri Lankan. At this point, a lot of the Sri Lankan exporters are facing dire difficulties, some facing even bankruptcy. If this were to continue, before long, there may not be Sri Lankans in Japan left to export a vehicle. Our request at this particular juncture is to allow us at least to export the 1,300 odd vehicles we had purchased prior to this ban. Back in March, when the vehicles that already had open LCs were allowed to be imported into Sri Lanka, that too was done under the agreement that the money would not leave Sri Lanka for 365 days. We are willing to invest this 1,000 odd vehicles into Sri Lanka for an X period of time, whether it's a year, whether it's a year and a half, 2, none of this money has to leave Sri Lanka. As far as the government's policy on keeping the reserves here, there will be no effect